everyone. And good morning for those joining us out in Western Canada. I'm Pamela Nicholson with Government Frameworks, and I'm so pleased that you were able to tune in and join us for our very fast 30-minute conversation that we're having today with regards to the journey from IT leader to CAO. I'm pleased to introduce our panelists. We have Tony Haddad with us, a well-known and retired municipal executive with more than 3 decades of senior leadership experience. He now provides consulting and advisory services to municipalities, the broader public sector, private organization, and also serves as a senior advisor with a respected public affairs and management consulting firm. We're pleased to say that Tony also is a CAO mentor with Government Frameworks to deliver professional development and training for elected officials while supporting the executive recruitment in private sector engagements as well as in the municipal space. Tony's previously served as CAO for the town of Tecumseh, additional interim CAO roles at Amherstburg, Chatham-Kent, most recently interim president and CEO at the Windsor-Essex Regional Chamber of Commerce. His career includes senior roles with York Region, Oakville, Windsor, Transit Windsor, spanning finance, governance, as well as corporate administration. So as a transformational and collaborative leader, Tony is a past director of OMAA, former president of AMCTO, and an honorary life member of OMAA. He has been recognized with the St. Clair College Alumni of Distinction Award and the AMCTO Prestige Award. So with that, humbly, we're very happy to have you join us, Tony.
Thank you very much, Pamela.
We also have Morgan Calvert here with us. Morgan has over 20 years of local government experience and is currently the CAO for the Township of Adelaide Metcalfe in Ontario. Previously, he was Director of IT Services, including special projects at Middlesex County, leading initiatives in intergovernmental relations, community transportation, municipal modernization, and strategic planning. Morgan was also the MISA Ontario president, where he built partnerships aimed at driving innovation and efficiency. Recognized for his contributions, he has received several awards, such as the Western University LGP Alumni Award of Excellence and MISA Ontario's Regina Lurkey Distinguished Service Award. He holds an MPA 19 from Western University and has contributed to research on digital readiness and organizational transformation in Canadian local government. So gentlemen, thank you both for joining. You'll see one other name on the screen here that's with us. Luke, who's here, he's with the Government Frameworks team and he's helping us with some behind the scenes tech, if you will, to make sure everything runs smoothly. There's also an opportunity to provide any questions you might have in the chat and we'll be sure to address those. So let's jump right in. I know our time is going to go quickly. So could you each tell us, Tony, Morgan, share what inspired your journey into the municipal leadership role? And what excites you most about mentoring others along that path?
Go for it, Tony.
Okay, well, in starting my municipal career, obviously very technical and administrative oriented as I developed into my skill set, and was challenged with opportunities and leadership roles. Very satisfying to be able to going to work every day, working with your colleagues, solving problems internally, as well as solving issues and addressing projects that benefit the broader community that most of us live in and contribute in a leadership role. Mentoring others to me is very rewarding in that I'm able to share some of my experiences that I've dealt with, that I've envisioned and stumbled through as well, in hopes that I can assist others in preventing some of those stumbles and helping them to advance their careers with some advice.
Thanks, Tony. Morgan?
Yeah, I guess what inspired my journey, my journey was absolutely not a deliberate one. I was a fairly young individual that really just didn't have a plan for the future. I knew I just needed to make money. And so as I was going through school to be some form of IT person, I managed to find myself a co-op position at Middlesex County, where I really just got to know a bunch of really good, passionate and intelligent folks that really led me to think more about what I could do for the community I live in or work for. And so through my IT career at a young age, I took the opportunity to work with these individuals, speak to them, understand what their values are, and it really inspired me to further my career in municipal government.
Well, that's great. So, Morgan, when we stay with that just for a moment, when you talk about your technical career, so what were some of those key turning points that helped you move, from technical leadership, into the CAO role?
Yeah, it's a good question, and again, I can't tell you I really had a plan for it. I did have a CAO named Bill Rayburn who really did. Helped me find my path. He recognized some skill sets and values in me and essentially told me about them. And then put me on a path to work through some of the education gaps that I had. But also as a technical person, there are quite a few social skills that we need to develop to be able to work with our peers, bring diverse groups together to really achieve common goals. And so those were the skills that he recognized I needed to further or develop further. And so he kind of took me under his wing, acknowledged where I needed to go, and told me to find some mentors, whether they were formal relationships or informal relationships. And so I would call him more of a formal mentor. I had a couple in my life for sure, but the informal mentors were just as instrumental to my career because I got to watch how they dealt with issues in real time, without really having to have that direct feedback loop between each other.
I love that, the informal approach as well as the formal approach. Tony, what are your thoughts, and personally for yourself, those when you look at your career, those key turning points that helped you from your leadership roles into CAO?
Well, similar to Morgan, the plan kind of evolved over time. It wasn't a plan that I had designed or had set out to venture down that path, but I had a very good mentor, and my first boss who hired me, who happened to be the Commissioner of Finance in Windsor, and he introduced me to municipal government and municipal finance, and I think he saw some opportunities with my interests and skill set that he was able to guide me, provide some advice, mentoring in terms of further education, which starting at a young age out of college, I then began taking some additional courses in municipal administration, as well as pursuing my bachelor's and master's degrees while I was along that path, and being assigned stretch exercises or stretch assignments to challenge my abilities. One of the biggest ones was having worked in administration and in finance mainly. I was assigned to be general manager of the public transit company, which I knew nothing about. But couple of things it did. Number one, got me out of administration and into an operational environment, and get you more in touch with not only the staff who are directly providing the service to the customers, but also the customers as well. And trying to operate a public transit service in a community that builds cars was a huge challenge, but it certainly taught me a lot of lessons over the 4 years that I was there, and it really kickstarted my leadership venture as my career evolved.
Oh, cool. So I'm hearing some parallels in the sense that you both had leaders who recognized your skills and who both encouraged you where to refine them and where maybe some of those skill gaps were. So when you look at things today, in your role today, where do you see the biggest skill gaps? Either if it's a technical leader that's aspiring to become a CAO, because we're focusing more on that particular path from IT leader, but I understand this can apply to other leadership roles as well. But zero back in on what's the biggest skill gap for technical leaders right now that are aspiring to become CAOs, and how do you think they can bridge that?
Well, I think as I think Morgan already alluded, some of the soft skills, the technical training and the technical skills that we develop early in our careers is the foundation for development of your leadership skills. And a lot of times it's dealing with the human factor, the interpersonal skills, the ability to read the room and read the issues that an individual might be representing, and how do you address those? How do you respond to them? How do you react to them to ensure that you're going to get a favorable outcome, particularly where there may be contrary opinions that are being presented. So, we have the technical team and skill set behind us, but we have to apply those soft skills, those political acuity, the empathy, those factors that need to come into consideration to help overcome the main issue, which is generally not a technical issue, because most technical issues have a solution. It's more the selling of the solution to the audience that you're speaking to.
Yeah, that internal communication. Morgan, what would you add, or your perspective on that as far as the biggest skill gaps you're seeing today for technical leaders that are aspiring?
To be honest with you, I would absolutely agree with Tony's assessment. It's really the interpersonal skills that need to boil up to the top. My observation as a CAO, working with my colleagues, it's quite often that folks are coming from a technical background. It doesn't matter if it's engineers, accountants, or otherwise. Those are very technical backgrounds. So if you're in IT, you still need to have the interpersonal skills to boil yourself up to management level positions. And let's be honest, I spent almost my entire career advocating for IT folks to be good CAOs, and talking to my colleagues about, how did you make the transition? But there's a lot of really strong transferable skills out of IT folks or technical backgrounds. And the one that kind of resonates the most with me is change management and systems thinking. IT folks are really good at looking across the entire organization to recognize technical gaps. Well, it's not always just technical gaps. There's service gaps or community gaps or otherwise. So their ability to look across the entire organization to drive value and to make change effectively is next to none. And then IT folks really understand what change management looks like, because if you're going to successfully implement that IT thing, whether it's a new business system, a process, or otherwise, they understand that it takes time, it takes patience, it takes training, it takes opportunity to really ingrain that change into the organization. And so when you're talking about community development and council staff relations or otherwise, you're often developing new programs, changing existing programs. Service levels change based on budgetary constraints or opportunities. And so, effective change management is absolutely important. So I would hands down say IT folks have the majority of the transferable skills. It's just whether or not you can manage folks being council, colleagues, or your own direct reports.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. And that leads in well to, we wanted to dive into the succession planning portion when it comes to mentoring. And so what I'm hearing from you, Morgan, is would it be right to say that you would encourage other CAOs to, even when they're looking at their organization, to look at their IT leaders for those reasons that you've just identified as far as some succession planning goes?
Absolutely. I would 100% encourage anybody within the organization that has to consider succession planning to look across any department, whether it's IT, planning, engineers, or public works, or otherwise. There's leaders in every layer of the organization, from a top down to a bottom up, and just keep your eyes open. There's lots of good people out there that are ready for leadership.
Yeah, for sure. So, Tony, let's over to you for a minute here. Can you share an example of a mentor or a moment that really shaped your leadership approach, and maybe your approach to how mentorship supports that strong succession planning for future CEOs?
Sure. I think one of the key ones is the accelerated learning and that you can pick up from a good mentor and how they can provide you with not only plans for your career advancement, but also it builds your confidence and your resilience and your ability to adapt to changing environments. Um, it encourages you to look at the broader perspective, the big picture, as opposed to the siloed effect that you might have, working in a particular department or in a particular service area where it's easy to put your head down, stay focused on the issue without having to deal with all the moving parts around you, whether it's personalities or weather or, politics or economics or, there's many factors at play that changes the dynamic of what you're working with. So having that ability to reflect and to recognize the different areas that you can turn to for support and to help develop options or recommendations that you're wanting to put forward that can help you succeed in your role.
Very cool. Morgan, I'm sure there's lots of examples, but and you mentioned already some mentors that you've had, but a moment that has shaped your leadership approach.
Yeah, I thinking about this question as Tony was speaking, and to be honest, and it might come to a bit of a surprise to you folks, but I was not the most confident individual in my own thinking. Sometimes I was sitting in situations wondering, is this reality? And so I had another mentor in Brian Whitelaw, a great individual, and he also recognized some leadership qualities that I had that I didn't recognize. And so his ability to raise my confidence in some of the stories or challenges that I was sharing, essentially just saying, Morgan, you're on the right path. Maybe tweak this thing. However, you're thinking the right way about that thing. It really helped raise my confidence in my ability to make decisions. And so that was fundamental to my career growth. Absolutely.
Oh, well, so if you were to offer one piece of advice back to your younger self, what do you think that would be?
I would say, don't shy away from mentorship opportunities, whether they're formal or informal. Make sure you diversify your mentorship relationships too. People come with different backgrounds, experiences, or perspectives. So it's good to get a breadth of advice. Just don't shy away from it, and find individuals that you appreciate and can model yourself after. Because sometimes the best advice is the advice that's not provided to you, but you observe in others.
Yeah, by exposing yourself to that environment and being surrounded by it, right? And to be that sponge, to be open to soaking it up. Tony, your thoughts, if you were to go back to your younger self, what advice would you give yourself?
Well, the need to push yourself, of course, to be inquisitive. As Morgan indicated, what we can learn from others, mentors, and formally observing people's performance, looking outside your organization, look at your community, look at the world stage. What can we learn from the performance of other leaders, and how can we incorporate that into our own style? Acknowledging your team and the people around you that help you look good, and your job to help others look good, particularly your council or your board of directors. And always, one of the key things that stuck with me is it's about we, not me. So acknowledging the team, it's not my organization, it's not my role, it's ours, and how we're serving that broader community that make up the folks that receive the programs and services that we're responsible for delivering. So huge acknowledgement there. And again, surround yourself with good, strong people, learn from them, contribute to their learning as well, and hopefully good outcomes are achieved.
Love that.
So, Pamela, if I could just jump in real quick.
Please.
Tony mentioned something that absolutely resonated with me, and it's about we. It's about us. It's not I. It's not me. People want to work with people, not for people. So having a humble approach to leadership, an empathetic approach to leadership, and developing those skills, because they are skills. They are things that you have to develop over time. We're not born with these perspectives. It does take time. So I would absolutely support what Tony said, that this is more of a team approach, and it always should be and will be.
Mhm. So with that team approach, how does an emerging leader stay competitive?
I think one of the key ways is to, um, you know, empowering yourself, giving yourself permission to be mentored, to be open to the thoughts and the ideas that others represent. And how do we do that? Well, oftentimes it's by engaging not only within our organization but outside our organizations, participating in community groups, work for a charitable organization, sharing your skill set for the benefit of others. Working with participating in provincial associations. I know Morgan and I both are engaged, as you heard from our bios, mentoring others informally or formally. And those opportunities help you to grow as a professional. It also helps you to pass on those traits and those experiences to the benefit of your team members and your colleagues.
Morgan, thanks, Tony, what would you add to that as far as how emerging leaders can stay competitive?
I think what Tony said absolutely resonates, and I support that 100%. One of my mentors early on in my career told me to do two things. The first was to surround myself with diverse individuals. Make sure that I'm having conversations with folks that challenge my own perspective of things, because it really does. The more perspectives you can consider, the better services you can provide, or programs that can be developed, and values you can ingrain into those things. The other thing that this person told me was that essentially just put my hand up for everything. Say yes to everything. If you're not making yourself uncomfortable, or if you're not in uncomfortable positions, you're actually not learning. And so that absolutely resonated with me. Even more so, sitting here today, I am not the most comfortable person sitting on screen telling my stories, but that's it's what I got to do to even learn and grow myself. And if I can say even one word or one sentence that helps others achieve something in their career, that's just what I want to do.
Oh, well, fabulous. Yes, no, and we appreciate, again, the time that you've both taken out of your busy schedules to share your experiences and paying it forward, right? Because you're both saying how much you've benefited, obviously, from the mentorship that you've received. When we look at future municipal executives, what do you think they should anticipate?
Well, there's ongoing challenges, of course, that all municipal professionals are facing, and we at Strategy Corps do an annual CAO survey each year to test the waters and check with our colleagues and give them an opportunity to express what they're facing and some of the issues and challenges that are top of mind, and what keeps them up at night, type of thing. And a lot of times it's very similar, but I've noticed in the last few years it's evolving, not necessarily being focused 100% on funding, but more HR, human resource type challenges, recruitment, succession planning, or a lack thereof, the whole infrastructure crisis, and what's happening in terms of the infrastructure around us, and our ability to build capacity within our organizations, not only the knowledge base, but also the skill set. And when we have multi-generational staff working for us, how are we achieving those with their different expectations that need to be managed, as well as those that we have to deliver to the communities that we're serving through the programs and services that each municipality provides. So it's an ongoing challenge, never ending, which is a good thing because it keeps us all employed and it keeps us all top of mind.
For sure. And Morgan, I know we don't have a crystal ball, but to add on to what Tony has shared, what do you feel that the future is going to look like for municipal executives and how they can anticipate it?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not a futurist by any means, but there are some very relevant topics that are going on today, and so what Tony said about challenges and opportunities absolutely makes sense. Be prepared for any opportunity or challenge that could come your way. We're dealing with things like strong mayor powers, uh, a divisive political environment. We're seeing a decline in public discourse as it relates to government folks doing good government things. And those things are just things that we got to deal with. They're challenges that we're going to have to overcome. The strong mayor powers is just another game to play. You can't really take it personally. There's things that we are going to face on the daily and in the future that we just can't anticipate. But being prepared, having good folks around you, having good mentors to bounce ideas off of, even working with mentees. I've learned a lot more from my mentees than I feel I've even provided as a mentor. So just having good, diverse folks and even challenging folks in your life, because if one person has an opinion on something, you may or may not like it, at least 10 more have that same opinion. So it's nice to know what both sides of the coin are, and that coin might have 15 different sides. So just, plan for challenge and just embrace it. It's going to happen whether you like it or not, and be confident in yourself.
Oh, yeah, love that. I just wanted to again invite everyone that is tuning in. If you have any questions that you wanted to, as we're just getting close to wrapping up, both Tony and Morgan have graciously agreed to stay on a little bit past our 30 minutes if there's any other questions or conversation that wants to continue. But what we'll do is we'll kind of, we'll put a bow on this, if you will, this conversation as far as where to look for mentorship, whether it's formal or informal, and the benefit that both the mentees and the mentors get in that relationship. So, Tony, you've mentored for many years, in your leadership roles. Curious, when we're talking about the government framework CAO mentorship model, and I know you've been part of addressing the syllabus specifically for Ontario. What do you appreciate most about that? Where do you feel it offers something different? Because I know you also support other mentorship programs. So your thoughts on that?
Of course, Pamela, we've been mentioning about the informal versus the formal mentoring, and mentors that we've aligned ourselves with over our careers. A lot of mentoring is done on a voluntary basis, and it's based on people's interest and availability of time. I think the model that Government Frameworks is making available in Ontario, which has been established in Alberta, is a more formalized mentorship program that the organization can engage with and enroll some of their leaders, whether it's a CAO or aspiring CAOs, directors or commissioners, department heads that are looking to make that step up, whether it's from the IT world or from planning or finance or law, across the board, engineers. So, a lot of that can be provided, and it has benefits not only for the mentee, but also for the mentor and for the organization. When you think about the organization making that investment on behalf of their staff, the investment in professional development, the culture of collaboration and learning that it's promoting, the knowledge transfer that it is encouraging, particularly when you have multi-generational staff. Those boomers and the older staff members that have all that knowledge base, you want to ensure that can be transferred. So what mechanisms exist for that to take place? It also improves the engagement and the retention opportunities within the organization, which is significantly important today when we're all competing for those resources. The workforce is changing, attitudes are changing. How are we better fulfilling those expectations for the organization as well as for the members of the staff? Whether you're a mentee or a mentor, there's benefits to be had, to be gained, building and strengthening your bench, your leadership skills, and your successors and leaders of the future that you're able to develop.
Oh, I appreciate your thoughts on that. And just for anyone who is interested or curious, the CAO mentorship model is across Canada that Government Frameworks is continuing to improve upon, in the sense of we want to, as Tony mentioned and Morgan did as well, in Ontario, there's strong mayor powers. I know other provinces are watching that closely because it may become a reality in other provinces as well. So there's always things to take away. And Tony is just one of 3 other people that I'd like to just call out. I'm not sure if they managed to make it on the call, but Frank Kootenay, Rod Hawken, Sheila Kitts, they're all former CAOs who are part of our CAO mentorship board, and all someone that bring their own experience and certainly make themselves available across Canada to be able to provide some formal mentorship. And again, this is usually municipally funded. It's a strategic investment, right, in that long-term leadership development and in succession planning. So we have that in place there. So we're at time. I want to thank you both. Morgan, Tony, if there's anything that you wanted to add just to kind of wrap things up, any last thoughts?
I would just encourage all of our viewers to engage and look at advancing your careers, how you can best do that to benefit your organization as well as yourself. It's very fulfilling and very rewarding. And if we can learn from others and avoid some of the pitfalls, it's certainly a more rewarding and more enjoyable journey that you're going to be on, and it helps prepare you for dealing with those changing dynamics that we are seeing happening in our sector, in our world, in our organizations, and the outside factors that are influencing things that we have no control over, but we have to adapt to and pivot to.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Tony. Morgan?
Honestly, I couldn't say it any better myself, Tony. That was fantastic. I would just add that in my own career path, I wasn't very deliberate in finding mentors until I needed to. So maybe set some deliberate goals, find some strong mentors, whether formal or informal, and do it early.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you again. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I know we'd all discussed certainly making ourselves available, whether it is a reach out via LinkedIn or onto this Teams chat. If there's any questions that you want to address directly to Morgan or to Tony, that they'll make themselves available to that, as will I myself. So thank you, everyone. Enjoy the balance of your day. We appreciate that you spent the last 30 plus minutes with us, and we look forward to continuing conversations. Take care.